Morning, Wayne.
Morning, Jim. How are you?
Very good.
Well, looks like we have a small group. Both are realtors that represent a lot of investors and also own properties themselves, comma. Hopefully they can help, exclamation point. So Jim, do you have anything that you'd like to, I don't know if I'm gonna maybe go through a whole presentation or not
I don't
here.
know if you should. I'm pretty well versed on Moxie. So, where were you going to go with it?
Well, I was going to kind of see who was on, but probably just do like engage and present, maybe a half an hour on both. But I
Hmm.
know you're familiar with them, so I don't want to, you certainly don't need to stay on because I know you're, I'm gonna probably get more specific next month and maybe do oh, D-Boss is coming on.
Yeah, we go.
Just do something like setting up a campaign or
Mhm.
I guess just be a little more specific in it. So do a buyer presentation, in present and
That's a
actually,
good one because
and
with this new
actually,
buyer agency thing,
yeah. So I'm actually going to make a note right now because I do want to.
I do think a lot of people listen to or watch the recordings.
Okay, and that's good, and I think so too. So I'm I so we'll kind of go through and
Yeah, I'm happy to sit here and learn, maybe learn something new.
all right, or you can teach me something. So
I don't know about that.
all right. Well, I was just setting up I am gonna stop my video because my Wi-Fi is acting a little weird. Save me some. Okay. So yeah, we'll get started. We're gonna talk Moxie Works today. I'm gonna I'll probably quick go through each platform. There's four parts to Moxie Works. Go through each one of them, just kind of refresh everyone on which, what each one of them is and you can do and then we'll kind of focus on a few things in present and engage to start. So Just to refresh, you log into Leverage, leverage.era.com, and first name dot last name at era.com, and of course your password. And then go to Agent Tools and Moxi Works to get to this page. So, and I'm going to use Julia's. Julia's an agent in our Cincy office. So the four main parts to Moxi Works again are present, engage, my website, and impress. So present, like you would think, is a presentation tool. We'll actually hop in there in a little bit, and I'll show you the presentations that you can do. Engage is our CRM. So that is the database for all of your people, all of your contacts, past clients, current clients, friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, everyone should be in your CRM. And we'll also hop into there and show you at least a few things that you can do right away to start making a difference with, staying in touch with folks. And that's the main thing with Engage is, we cannot be secret agents. We need to get in there and, or in different ways, say hi to folks so they remember us and remember that we're still in real estate and we still want to help them sell real estate. Their real estate, help them buy. So my website, obviously, is your era.com website. We will probably do another session on that next month or in the next 2 months as well, just to kind of help everybody, make sure their website is up and running. A lot of folks, they may have another website, that they've had for a while, which is fine. I've never said you need to only have one, one or the other, and one's better than the other. If you have a website and you're comfortable with it, that's great. But the fact is that this era.com website is still active. It's out there. So there are a few things that you can do. If you get in there and kind of have some stuff ready, less than an hour, your website could be completely up and running. And then whether that's the one you're sharing or it's sitting there and being seen for folks going to era.com and doing Google searches, we want to make sure it's at least to the point where folks won't see it and wonder why you don't have a picture or why you don't have a biography. So again, we'll probably do another session on that as well. And the last one is Impress. Impress is our marketing tool within Moxi Works. So a very powerful tool that you can, grab a listing and do a very quick 3-4 click Facebook ad, Instagram ad, a flyer, a postcard, things like that. So just a reminder, all of Moxi Works, so every single one of these pieces is directly connected to the MLS. So, so just know, everything you do in each one of them, your listings will show up in all of that. So it's that much easier to, create a flyer or a postcard or a Facebook ad within Moxi Works or anything you're going to go do a presentation, knowing that it's directly connected to the MLS. So let's get into present. And I'll just show you, oh, goodness gracious. I am logged out of Julia's. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share and I'm actually just, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm actually just going to log into mine. And share my screen. Okay, so sorry about that. As soon as mine kind of fully loads. So we'll log into present. And again, presentation tool. So we'll be able to see, oh, hi, Julia. Hi, Amber.
Hi, Wayne. Sunshine.
Oh my goodness, look at me with all my issues here. I've never seen it do that when I clicked present. Here we go. So present presentation tool, just to kind of show you what we can create in this. If I hit create new, so what you can do is create a seller presentation, do a property review, do a buyer tour, a buyer presentation, and then a non-listing. So this non-listing is just a blank presentation. You can literally create whatever you want within this presentation. I think there's your contact pages, and then you can just add pages to it. But Jim and I were just talking before we got started. I am going to do just a Moxi present buyer presentation next month. It'll probably be one of the first ones we do, especially since we all the recent news and how important it will be for us to kind of have that buyer presentation ready and valuable so that we can show our value and get buyer representation forms signed and things like that. So we will be doing one, but buyer tour, property review, seller. So my main thing with this piece is, we can often do a lot, let's say a CMA. We could do a CMA in our MLS, and it's fine. It gets all the data across it, it gets them all the info they need. But kind of with today's market and in the sellers and in all the scrutiny, I guess, if you want to call it that, around us, our folks are kind of expecting a little more from us, or and maybe they always have, but they've gotten what they've gotten. So just think about three agents walking into in meeting with a seller. How can you set yourself apart? So and I think of this one tool right here, Moxi Present, is a huge way to differentiate yourself from another agent. Don't just do what you can do in the MLS. A lot of agents do not have any other option. So if you come in with a Moxi presentation, or just share a Moxi presentation with them, we have a pretty good shot of standing out, and it really can do that for us. I mean, it's a pretty cool tool. I know a lot of you on here are either using it, have used it, use it regularly. So, but I'm going to just kind of show you one scenario where you could probably see yourself standing apart with a client. And the one that's kind of the easiest to actually do is this buyer tour. So I'm going to actually just click on buyer tour. So basically what I'm doing here is, a client says, hey, Friday, I want to see these three properties, and you're like, okay, so you know the three properties, you go in the MLS, you might be mailing them the sheets, the MLS sheets on it. You might be printing them out so that you kind of have them, and hand them to them while you're at the listing. Like, okay, here's the listing for 123 Main Street, and they kind of have it in their hands as they're walking around the property. I mean, you're kind of limited in what you can do, but just kind of think, now let's kind of think about that and then see what we can do with this buyer tour in Moxi Present. So I'm going to just leave it. We always have to label it. So I'm going to just, obviously you would label it maybe their names or whatever. And then I'm going to hit create, and it's going to actually go to the MLS. It's going to be ready for me to grab whatever properties I either want to send them to potentially see, or the one that, let's say the three that they have, they've picked out. We're going to kind of keep this simple, but I want to be able, I kind of want to get to it and show it. So right now, this page right here, I am connected to the MLS. So it's just waiting for me to basically go find those three properties, or like I said, just do a search and find some for them. You know, maybe they've sent me some they want to see, or maybe I'm going to say, hey, look at all these potential properties in the zip code you want, in the price range you want. So like I said, I'm going to keep this simple. I'm actually going to, so you can do, you know, a city, a zip code, a neighborhood. You can obviously do price, you know, beds and baths, and then you can do all these filters. So you know, you could break this down pretty good to, you know, to kind of what you are looking for. But I'm gonna, and then you have another option to draw. So you'll see it. I'm gonna, in this map, I'm gonna hit draw, and then I'm gonna hit quick draw, and I'm just gonna draw a quick circle and say, this is the area that, and I would be a little better than that if I was actually doing it, but this is the area that my folks are looking in. So once I do that, it actually went to the MLS and pulled up every property available. So, and that's obviously a huge, you know, if they were probably looking, I'm sure there would be a much smaller circle. But just to make it simple, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to leave it like this. And I'm going to even leave it simpler over here. I'm going to just pick the first 3 properties. So, and I wouldn't mind showing them on Friday, to be honest, 1.7, 1.4. But so I'm going to click, you know, as I'm scrolling down through here, and I can scroll down and just pick properties wherever. But you'll see when I hover over the listing, in the picture part, you'll see a plus. And I'm just going to click plus, and you'll see it turn to a green check mark. And I'm going to just grab the first 3 and say, yep, those are the 3 that they said, or these are the 3 I'm going to send them. Those are the 3 that we want to see, let's say on Friday. I'm going to scroll down and I'm just going to hit continue. And you'll see this tour order came up on the next page. So it actually, you know, has us going to, you know, 1, we're going to drive a little bit, we're going to go to 2, and we're just going to come back to 3. If you're like, okay, that works for me. If you want to change this at all, there's a change. So right under tour order, listings 3, there's a change order. So I'm going to hit that, and I'm just going to say, let's go, you know, let's move this one up 1. And I'm going to hit save order. And now you're going to see the map 1. Instead of going to 2 and coming back to 3, we're just going to 1, 2 along the way, 3 along the way, and then we're done. And again, you can just, you know the area, you know what you're showing, you know where they live, where it's easier to start. But, you know, so set that up. And then, you know, you have the option of hitting this meeting time. So let's say we are going to show them tomorrow, and we're going to start at 2. And then you can, you know, hit each one of these, but, you know, I'm going to just say, you know, since they're going to get this, they're going to see, oh, that's right, we're starting tomorrow, we're starting at 2, here's the address we're starting at, and we're just going to go with that. So now I'm going to hit continue, and our presentation is created. So I kind of took longer, obviously, to sort of explain that, but you could see how quick I chose buyer, tour, I named it, I grabbed 3 properties. So if you had to do a little search, might have taken you a little bit longer, but I grabbed 3 properties. I looked at the tour order, and this thing is created. So now, again, thinking where, I get to the, I get to 2 o'clock, I get to our first listing we're going to show, and I hand them an MLS printout. And they're just looking at the, or they don't, or maybe not, or look at that MLS printout, or they can have this on their phone as we're at that first property, and all of them, and they can have this on their phone, their iPad, their laptop prior to us meeting Friday at 2. So now I'm going to just scroll down. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to just view this so you can kind of see it. So that, and this is mobile friendly. So when they do look at this on their phone, it is, they're not scrolling left, right. They don't have to tilt their phone sideways. It's, it's very easy for them to see right on their phone. But I'm going to scroll down through. First page, obviously, great that they see you and know that you sent this to them. Again, here's the listing location map. So, okay, that's right. We're starting at 1. And then going to 2, 3. If I hover over this picture up here, you'll see the one kind of changes, you know, kind of highlights, so they realize like, okay, that's right, we're starting there. If they click on this, they can get a quick description, all the pictures if they scroll through. So not, you know, it's you know, it's just pretty cool that you know, that they have access to all this right, you know, right, you know, of course prior, but also while we're showing these properties, they can have this pulled up. And again, for each one, second page is just a listing overview. So again, just another way for them to click on each one of the properties, check them out as they're there. Third one, this is probably, you know, maybe for in after. So we looked at 3 properties. Sometimes, you know, sometimes we look at more, but if we look at 3 of them, sometimes our clients will, you know, I don't want to say get confused, but they're like, which property, you know, had that kitchen? Which property, you know, how big was that second property? Which, you know, so this one is pretty cool because the 3 properties and the pit, you know, the addresses stay static. And then when I scroll, just the details, you know, I can look at the details. So price, you know, square footage, how big the lot was, you know, just, and then the details about, you know, off street, you know, just, you know, it's pretty cool that they can kind of do this and of course they can do it prior, but I think of it more of an after thing where they're kind of comparing them in their minds after they saw all 3. So it's a pretty cool page. And then the other pages are just really just more data where they can easily look at days on market. You know, oh, maybe, you know, being that this one's 60 days, do you think we might be able to get a little cheaper or whatever? But also just, you know, easy way, always clickable. You can always get, you know, get to this page from, you know, with you know, to get to all that info on the, you know, for the listing. Next one, just home averages, pricing. Then there's a days on market. So again, just kind of realizing, you know, this one's more expensive, but it's new. This one's less, but, you know, it's been on the market a while. You know, price and size. So comparing, you know, square footage. And then of course your contact info, and not to discount this page, but you know, all of this is clickable. So if I am on my phone and, you know, and hover over your phone number, I can call or text you. If, you know, no matter where I am, if I wanted to email you, I can email you right from this presentation. They can get to your website. Of course, they, you know, they would just know which office you're out of. So pretty cool, this page to, you know, just, you know, obviously it's a contact page, but for them to be able to directly reach you, you know, is pretty cool, and not to be understated the, you know, the potential value for that. So, so that is the, you know, kind of one of the presentations that you can create. All of them can be that easy. You know, and again, we'll go through them next month. We'll definitely do a buyer presentation. And we'll kind of create one from scratch and show the value of that. And once you create them, you always have them. It's always there for you. You know, you can customize them, you know, duplicate them and then customize them. But you are not needing to recreate the wheel each time. And even if you do for different buyer tours, you can see how easy it was. And then again, just knowing that we can always add pages. So to kind of even customize this a little bit more, sometimes, you know, in the presentations, you know, we have the ability to add pages. You know, let's just say there's an out-of-town buyer and maybe they're not too familiar with Cincinnati or, you know, Columbus or, you know, one of our, you know, wherever you are, you know, we can just think about adding a video about Cincinnati, adding additional maps about Cincinnati. So, you know, they say they want to be north, you know, east of Cincy. You know, you could send them one big map of Cincy and show them like, well, the town you want to be in is, you know, about 25 minutes from downtown Cincy, or, you know, whatever. So there's lots of options. So I'm going to kind of just quick show you. When I hit this ad page, and I'm going to hit create new. I'm going to build a page. And you, just for the record, if you do have a PDF page, so, maybe there's a page you've built, about yourself, or maybe you've built a page, and it's in a PDF format now about the market you're in. You can always upload those, but, kind of getting customized, I'm going to hit this build a page, and I'm just going to show you the options. So this is just the first one's just a blank page, and then they just kind of break down. So you can, maybe use this second one, maybe a heading at the top, more about Cincinnati. And then on the left-hand side, maybe upload a video. And on the right-hand side, upload a map of Cincinnati. Just as, thoughts, but, you could add, upload, really any information that you have about, the neighborhoods, schools, parks, if you kind of know your potential client or client, you can customize this as much as can. And then again, knowing, this helps you stand out. Like, just think, you sent this to them. Who else, maybe added a video about Cincinnati, or about, whatever you happen to do that in. A video of yourself could be included, a 30-second video about, hey, I'm so excited to see you on Friday. I can't wait to show you these 3 great properties. That would stand out so much as they're scrolling. They wouldn't even expect it. And then when they saw it, it would just blow them away. So lots of ways that we can get creative here. And again, just stressing the fact that, showing our value is more important than ever. And we have it. We have the value. We just have to actually show it. In kind of using these presentations is a big piece to be able to do that. So I'm going to back out of this. I'm going to pause for a minute, and I know there are some folks on here, and I may call you out, Julia, or even Amber, but whoever. I know you guys have used this, but have you seen the value? Has anyone sort of mentioned that they were impressed or liked it, or just fact that they loved a presentation that you sent them? Anyone want to unmute in?
Hey, Wayne, it's Amber. Julia's on a call right now, but
Okay.
we both have like kind of putzed around with it, and it is really, it's nice. I honestly don't use it a heck of a lot, just because, especially on the buying side, only because, I feel like showing time already sets that up. I have used it in the past, and it didn't seem to somehow, I don't know how, didn't really seem to impress my buyer too much. I don't know if it was just her or what, but I was all excited because I was like, this thing is so cool. And I think it maybe kind of deflated me, but I'm on this because I would like to present more. Yeah, and I think I know that in our office, they don't do obviously the buy sell, but they have present like newsletters and stuff that you can create. So I'd be interested to see you do a training on the newsletters, because you can create a newsletter and send that out to your folks on a regular drip and just update it monthly. So but this is all very interesting to me because I've honestly kind of forgotten a lot of it.
No, that's great. I appreciate, I mean, yeah, we know we know some buyers, probably be impressed, and some are like, I don't know, just show me the properties. I totally get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So, but we will be doing, as I mentioned, a buyer presentation, because we know that it honestly has always been important, but now us, needing to fully show our value. So, and just to kind of let me.
Yeah, I agree, especially in this era of, that all these properties are sitting a little bit longer. So people really do have the opportunity to kind of mull over you know, what they're being presented instead of having to jump on it and, you know, write an offer immediately. So I think this is going to come back into play, and that we are going to be able to use this as a major asset for our buyers.
Yeah, I love that. I love that thought. And just kind of a refresh, you know, like I told you, these all stay in here. You'll see I've done a lot of, you know, tests and in different things. In the last one I did was that, you know, this one, the first one you see, if I pull this up, let's say a week from now, it is gonna, you know, it's still gonna be it's still gonna be valid. It'll actually go to the MLS. If the prices changed, if one of them, you know, those three properties that I, you know, picked, if one of them sells, it's going to say it's sold. If one of them has a price reduction, it's going to, you know, it's going to, you know, show the price reduction. The days on market will be, you know, 7 days more. So this one piece, you know, if I wanted to resend this to my folks, hey, remember these three properties we saw, you know, any more thoughts on them, you know, I could pull this up, you know, it will automatically update it and I can reshare it with them. So I would not need to go create another one like, oh, those three properties. I wonder if, you know, wonder if they have any, you know. So it's kind of cool that these all stay here, and will update as you reopen the presentation, and you can reshare them. So you think about that with maybe that buyer tour, or if you're doing a CMA presentation for a seller, you know, you send it today. They have not listed 2 weeks from now. You can resend that CMA. It will update. It'll, you know, update the value for them. So it's pretty cool that, you know, they all stay active, and you can reuse them, resend them to someone if you want to.
Yeah, that's a great point. I do like that. I kind of forgot about that feature until you mentioned it again in this training, that it does automatically update. And let's be real, some of my buyers recently have been, you know, taking their time. So the fact that it automatically updates is a huge bonus.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, you could pull up the one we just created, you know, let's just say a week from now, you know, those three would update, and you can still add two more to it, you know, and then send them, you know, like, here's the three we looked at. You know, and here's two more, you know, so it's pretty easy to not, you know, for the same person, you do not have to start from scratch each time. So, and like you said, for folks that, you know, aren't ready to just jump on something, that could be, you know, could be valuable for you, and an easy way to reshare stuff with them. So I appreciate that. And just to kind of show you, when I talk about that buyer presentation that we'll actually do a session on. So we did this buyer tour, but this is actually, you know, a buyer presentation. So let me kind of pull this up and just kind of show you guys, and we'll go through and we'll do a lot of tests. So I'll just kind of show you guys this quick, you know, just so you're familiar with it, you know, it's in there. You do not, you know, maybe you want to play with it prior to our session next month, but kind of want to just show you that it does exist in what it does entail. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is being a little slow today. Well, I am gonna try that again. I think I have one in my about this. Wants to create it. So I'm going to actually just skip this page and get to this page. So, just kind of, thinking about this, and again, just a sample one, but just kind of looking at the pages, and again, we're going to go through this. I want to, I kind of want to build one with you guys, but property summary, location map, listing overview, then it gets to price and size, pricing analysis, purchase costs. So there's additional pages in this buyer tour, and then the fact that we can actually add pages. So your recent, pages we will add are, your recent sales, any data we can, what community, how you're involved in the community, just building a presentation, is showing your value. And that's exactly what this buyer tour would, or this buyer presentation would be, if you're going to meet with a buyer and they are potentially, with everything going on, going to be paying you, and you need to show why they need to sign a buyer representation agreement, why they should trust you, why they should work with you and not, Julia, why, why. So building this presentation will help you show that value, show that you're going to be there for them, show them that you go above and beyond. So lots of pieces within this presentation. Again, build it once and it's there, and then you're going to update it as you go. But just know that once you build it, update it if you want to update it every time you sell something, or update it once a month. But again, just knowing, it's pretty easy to create this. Once we do, it's there for us. And just to refresh that it does refresh and update every single time you open this up. This is one that I created a long time ago for my property, and you'll see the date on it updated till today. So it every single time, it will update the date and all the info in it, so that you can resend it, update it a little bit more, add properties to it, whichever presentation you're doing. But just know that it truly updates it. So you're not going to send something that says, 7 days ago. I mean, it's going to have a new date on it, like you just went out and recreated it. And I can't stress the, obviously every person's different, but I love the fact that I've talked to folks, some agents that have done this, and whether it's the newsletter or whether it's the seller presentation, the listing presentation, I've had some folks say that some folks have really been impressed. And one of our agents in Columbus actually got a list, and I say got a listing, but went on a listing presentation, but them being different, them showing that they do extra stuff and went above and beyond and created something like this. They said that the seller was very impressed, and it's one of the reasons they got the listing. So we, again, just kind of knowing that we want to stand out. So any chance we can do that is kind of what we need in today's market. So I'm going to just go back to kind of the present homepage. While I'm doing that, does anybody have any questions? Anybody else have any questions or any comments on Moxi Present? Okay, so please look for our training schedule that'll be coming out for Q2. Obviously we'll have a lot of other stuff, but we will have some more Moxi stuff. And please, if you have any topics, that you want, like if there's a piece of Moxi or anything, since you guys are on this call, please let me know, because I am more than happy to do, any sessions if it's a request from an agent. All you got to do is just let me know something that you would like to see or me cover, and I'd be happy to do it for sure. So keep that in mind. So next, I'm going to just show you guys Moxi Engage. So again, Moxi Engage is our CRM. So this is designed, it's a database to hold all of your people, all of your contacts, current clients, past clients, friends, family, past coworkers. It really needs to include every single person that you would expect to either use you as an agent or refer you. So think about that. Every single person. So that's when I say friends and family should be a part of your database. If I add a person into Moxi Engage today, nothing, zero, will be sent to them. So it's not like, I add my best friend and they just start getting hammered with emails. Again, nothing will be sent unless I say, hey, send this or send this. So important to know. But the idea of a database, so there are so many agents in the market. So the NAR says the average person knows 7 to 8 realtors, knows them. So not just has heard of an agent, knows 7 to 8 agents. So the fact is that your neighbor, your friends, your family know, let's just use 7 other agents. Okay, so family, I would hope they would just come to you. But let's just think, to make it realistic, a family member, let's just say a cousin that you don't see all the time. Let's say a friend that you just don't see all the time. If I'm not telling them I am a real estate agent and that I, essentially expect them to remember I'm a real estate agent and use me if they need something, if I'm not saying that, it's highly likely they would forget that I'm in real estate and potentially go somewhere else. And we've all had it happen. We've walked up to someone and I don't know, maybe at a family event, maybe just somebody you haven't seen in a while, and maybe they see your name tag or your apparel that has your your logo on it or whatever, or they realize like, oh my gosh, I forgot you were in real estate. I didn't think about it. I just listed my house, and your face goes white and there's, they're freaking out. So the goal is when we have all those people in our database, we have the ability to say hi to them in a split second, and we can say hi to them however we want. We can put them on a campaign. We can put them on a newsletter. We can just send a random email once a month, once every 6 months that just says, hey, hope all is well. Just wanted to remind you, I'm in real estate. Let me know if you need anything. You kind of just write something. But the fact is if they're not all in one place, I forget people. I'm not going to see everyone. I'm not going to remember to text every single person and remind them I'm in real estate. But when they're all in one spot, we have the ability to do that with just a few clicks. So that's the big piece of having the CRM. So, and I'm just going to show you just a few things that we can do in Moxi Engage that are super simple and yet valuable to be able to let all of our folks know. So I'm going to show you how to add some people first. And we can add them individually or we can import. So obviously if you have started adding folks, you can import more folks, or you can add one by one. So if you kind of have your core in there and you meet Joe today, you're probably just going to go in there and quick add Joe. Like Joe Smith, 123 Main Street, here's his email, here's his phone. So that's kind of the idea. But if you're starting, you know, just starting out, then you want to download folks from the MLS. You want to download folks from your phone, from your email, go onto your social, and you want to kind of, just know that you can, upload those folks 200, 500, 2,000 at a time, and be able to, add those all at once and not think that you need to add one by one, 200 or 300 people. So here's the screen for the one-off person. So, obviously name is needed, phone, email is needed. So these two are kind of crucial. You can add with one or the other. If you want to at least get them in there, add one or the other. But if you have them, add them both. If you have their address, add it. And this stuff is just extra. Like, you don't have to go through and add every single thing to every person, but the more you do when you're adding them, the better. It's less likely you're going to go back and add, a date after you've put them in. But if you go through right now, and there's some pretty cool ones here. It'll remind you when it's their birthday, if there's an anniversary. The one that really gets people is if you wish them house anniversary, 1 year, okay. But when you wish them, hey, happy house anniversary, 10, 11 years down the road, that sticks with them, and it's high likelihood they're going to remember you. So, if you have these dates, add them in there now. Just so you have them. And again, you can go down as much as you want. So that's the one-off. And then of course, adding them as a group, you just want to import contacts. This is just grabbing a CSV file. So if I export a CSV file from the MLS, it's going to give me their name, email, phone, and I can just grab that file and upload it as a whole into MoxiWorks. So adding people, number one. And then really what we want to do is really go in, sort of one by one and figure out who that person is and how I want to say hi to them. So this is kind of a process. So if I was to add 200 people today, I would just personally set a goal that it's okay. So we're third week in March. So let's just say by the end of April, I want to have every single one of my folks set up on something. So you don't have to do it. The sooner the better, but you do not have to do it today because you're showing properties and working on stuff, and and it's overwhelming to think I'm just going to stop and just do it all today. But if I set a goal, I'm going to do 10 names a week, 5 names a day, whatever. And when I say, click on them and what can I do with them, I'm going to show you that real quick now. So I'm going to click on John. He's a client of mine. He's a friend of mine, family, like whoever he is. I'm just going to click his name. There we go. So, and now this is his profile. And I really just want to look at it. And I want to think, who's John? How do I want to contact John? And that's what I'm saying in my mind. In the quick options are, if John is a potential buyer or someone that's interested in listings, send me listings around my house, send me listings, that, 3-bedroom, 2 baths. So along this right-hand side, you'll see I'm hovering over it. There's one called faves and saves. If I click that, I can actually just set up a listing search of, an auto search, an auto email, so that John can get all the 3-bedroom, 2 baths in this zip code or in this price range, or maybe investment properties, like whatever. So that's one option, is to quick, set up a search, and that can be it, or that's just one of the pieces that you set up for John. Okay, John is getting an email from me. He's going to see that I'm a real estate agent. He's going to remember that that I can help him. That's kind of what we're thinking through this. A couple other quick options are same black bar on the right-hand side. I'm going to go to add subscriptions. So these are two like simple clicks, and you can get emails out to folks so they remember you sell real estate and are getting valuable data, for the record. I mean, if you're sending something to them that's going to be valuable to them, or we want it to be valuable to them, but we also want them to remember us. So the first one that I'll click on is this listing announcements. So if I just hit this add subscription, if I hit this done right here, what John's going to get in an email is when I, the agent, lists a property, he's going to get an email. And when I sell a property, he's going to get an email. So our new president, Alex, he always just talks about, when we list a property, we send 50 postcards to the neighbors. And he says, hey, that's great. Like, it really is good. And then when it sells, we might send 50 postcards. And let's say I do that in January. If I don't list another property in that area, in those 50 homes, if I don't list another one, or if I don't list another one until the next January, they're not going to remember me. Still, it's good to do, but just to expect everyone to remember you just because you sent them one postcard when you listed a house, we got to be careful with that. He says the people that will remember are your sphere. So if you set up everyone on your listing announcements, if you have 200 people and you list 10 properties throughout the year, you're going to send 400 communications to your sphere when it's listed and when it's sold. So there's 400 communications to your sphere that you're still in real estate, you're active, and you can help them. So that's an easy one to, just to go, send to folks, and they're just going to see when you list and see when you sell. So that's one option. And the second is this neighborhood news. So this will actually send a newsletter to your sphere, to whoever you sign up on this, with valuable data about their home. It will go to the MLS. It will pull up information. This is what's listed. This is what's pending. This is what's sold, all around their home. It'll actually, it's a very interesting newsletter. It's valuable. The open rate is really the key. So the open rate throughout Moxi is almost 70%. So, you send 100 neighborhood news, on average, 70 people are going to open it up and check it out. So, I think I was doing this with John DeCurtains, one of our agents in Cincinnati, and he checked it. And I think his open rate was, 73 or 74%, so, that is huge, that if you send 100 emails, let's just say 70, let's say 50 people opened it up, and saw value in it. It's so easy to sign folks up on it, and yet so valuable. So, he says that he's got folks adjusting the search, thanking him for sending it, so super, super valuable. And just to kind of quick show you, so I just clicked add subscription for neighborhood news. There's two options you can do. So you can assign a zip code. So when I say a zip code, it's going to pull all the data from a zip code and include it in the newsletter. So if a zip code works for you, great. If you kind of want to do a little more custom search and just take a few minutes to do, you can actually break down the info they get to a certain kind of same thing we did earlier, a certain search, a certain area, a certain price, to kind of make, hey, here's what's happening in the MLS, make it a little more custom to them. So, we could do the same thing with draw, quick draw. Let's just say they live in Bethany and it's kind of a unique neighborhood. I don't want I don't necessarily want them getting info on something south of them. I could literally just draw a circle, and their neighborhood newsletter would only give data from the MLS in this circle. So, not something even in this, on this street, just in this circle. So you can get it detailed for certain neighborhoods, certain streets, however detailed you might want to get it. I just kind of wanted to show you that that was available. So that's kind of customizing that neighborhood news. But the fact is, the important piece is it's something to send them, showing that you still, that you're still in real estate and that, hey, I'm still here. But the fact is, the neighborhood news, super high open rate because, because of the data in it, because of what it's in it. They're not getting a letter, an email from you that says, hey, it's time to change your clocks. Like those get unsubscribed sometimes. You got to be careful about just sending, generic emails. Or the open rate is 5 or 6%, which is the average for those type of emails instead of 70%. So I would much rather have 70 folks open an email I send if I'm gonna send something than 5 or 6. So, super easy to do, so valuable to just take the time one by one and just realize, who's John? Nope, John does not need a listing announcement, but John owns a home, so I'm going to send him a neighborhood news, or I'm going to put him on my listing announcements. Whichever, whatever you choose, but each one of your folks, how aggressive you might want to be or how cautious you might want to be. But super important that we get folks in here and are contacting them one way or the other. So just real quick, you have the ability to mass email. So if you were to grab, if you had 200 people in there and just wanted to send an email, like, hey, hope all is well with you. I'm always here for you. Let me know if you need anything. Keep it as, simple as you can, but you're basically just saying, hey, I hope all is well with you. You could grab 200 people. It will send them out individually. So it's not like, one person gets an email or, with 200 other folks on it. And they're like, oh, come on, you sent one email. Like, they get it individually. And the fact is we want them to think, if they get the newsletter, if they get, a listing announcement, if they just get an email from you, like, I want to do it as simple as I can. Or if I do the neighborhood news or listing announcement, I set it and it just does it for me. But I want them to think that I actually took the time this morning. I woke up and said, I'm going to email John this morning. And I want him to think, man, that was nice. Like, he took the time to build this newsletter for me. I want them to think that I actually took the time to do that and that, it was just for them. So that's kind of an additional piece. And I'm going to show you one other thing real quick. You could actually mass assign either a neighborhood news or the listing announcements. So you don't, if you're like, hey, I'm going to start with just assigning every single person in my database to my listing announcements. So when I list a property, they all get an email. There's a way to do that. So I have 3 people in here. I just kind of use this as my test account. But if I hit select all, so it grabbed everyone in my database. So if you have 200, it's going to grab them all. If I just hit this add to, so I'm in this second white bar across, I'm going to hit add to, you can see that I can do actually a lot of things with them. I can label them and things like that. But the 2 ones that we just talked about are neighborhood news and listing announcements. So I could grab everyone and hit this listing announcement, and every time I list a property, every single one in my database will get an email, and I didn't have to go through one by one and assign them. The neighborhood news, actually kind of cool. If I just do the neighborhood news in quick, what you'll see happens is it doesn't just assign them all. I could, you'll see that in the dark blue, enter same zip code for everyone. But what it does is it would actually list your 200 people here and allow you to just quick go through and do, I'm going to put you on this zip code. I'm going to put you on, whatever, so, but again, you don't have to log into each one of them and then, click subscription, click neighborhood news, assign a zip code. You can do it this way, or like or if you wanted to, you can, just say, hey, assign everyone this one, and every single one would get the same zip code. But just so you know, like John told me the last time I was with him, he set some folks up on a certain zip code. He did some on custom search, and they have the ability to change it. So even if you just said, well, I'm going to set them up on a core zip code, start getting them some data, they can adjust that. They can adjust the search to a different zip code, customize it, whatever. So sometimes getting them something is a start. But you certainly have the ability to customize it, all the way down through as well. So that's kind of a cool piece to, to get something to them. But the fact is, the number one, obviously, getting everyone in this system, and then going one by one, and kind of figuring out the best way to contact them. If you did that, and it took you till the end of April, if it took you till the end of May to do that, you were going to be way, way better off. Because if I think I'm going to just do this tomorrow, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to be like, well, I gotta, and then it's going to be, it's going to be the end of May and you still have no one in here. You haven't assigned anyone on a neighborhood news. Start chipping away at everyone, and then, by the end, just make it in a time frame that works for you. And just know, if you have this set up by a certain time, May, June, I don't care when, the rest of your career, you're going to start getting business from folks that will remember you, by what you're doing in Moxi Engage, and it will work. It just will. So that's sorry for a little preach there, but that is what I wanted to cover today. Does anyone have any quick questions, any thoughts on either Moxi Present or Moxi Engage? All right. Well, I hope it was helpful. Hope it, in Amber's case, kind of refreshed your thoughts on what we have and the tools we have, and how valuable they can be. But if you guys, as always, if you guys ever need anything, of course you have your coordinators and your managers in your office, but I am always available for you guys. Do not hesitate, to reach out at any time. So yeah, Jim, I hope you, I know you're very familiar with all of Moxi and use it a lot, but I appreciate just hanging on and love that you learned something. So, but all right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you joining today, and have a great rest of the day.